Here we go again. What's up everybody, if you're new here, my name is Devin from Naughty Boy RC, and in today's video we're taking a peek at the newest release from Team Kagama. It's eerily similar to something we've already had on the channel, but if you stay with me, we'll explain what that is and take a peek inside of this newest RC monster truck. So this is the Punisher 4 from Team Kagama. It's their latest 1/10 scale, 4-wheel drive, 4S monster truck. However, it's not exactly new. In the box, you are going to get the car manual, radio manual, and an antenna tube if you're, I don't know, a little frisky. You're also going to get this radio that everybody loves to hate. I've already tested it with the Synchro 4 and the Kagama 4, and I absolutely loved it on both cars. So y'all can stay hating. This is the easiest car to drive one-handed and film with. Enough with that hot tour. Let's take a look at the truck. This guy shares a 95% parts compatibility with the other Team Kagama models. So let's start in the front, work our way back, and show you everything this truck features before getting into the very big difference that this truck offers. Alright, so at the front of this thing, you're going to get a massive bumper to help protect your suspension, which includes a set of 16mm big bore shocks that are protected by composite shock caps, which are absolutely awesome. I love that touch on the Team Kagama 4S line. Inside of those big bore shocks, you do have some 3.5mm shock pistons. There are no sway bars in the kit, however the mounts are there, so you can add your own. It's got the big beefy pillow ball suspension and arms. None of the links are adjustable, however they're composite and absolutely massive, so I don't think you're gonna have an issue there. You got big thick composite shock towers, big thick composite body mounts. On the bottom end of that suspension, the hinge pin blocks are a mixture of composite and aluminum. You do have composite chassis braces front and rear, as well as a mount for a GPS speedo, and then a big tower in the middle to help support the body. The drive shafts and drive cups are steel, and they're going to be connected to heavy-duty steel differentials. And keeping the drivetrain smooth, you do have rubber sealed ball bearings. Just like the other 4S cars, they're actually the same diffs that are in the 6S Kagama cars, so these trucks should be able to handle quite a bit of power right from the factory. As for the tires and wheels, just like the Kagama 4, these are going to be the same setup that you'd find on the Skeeter truck. People really seem to like them, so they have carried them over through multiple other models now. On the back, they do have their new style wing on this truck also. It seems to hold up pretty good, however what it's connected to may not hold up so great. We'll get into that in just a minute. Now, flipping the truck over to the bottom, you're going to notice a beautiful aluminum chassis, just like on their other models, with some awesome laser engraving on there. Team Kagama really does have some of the most beautiful chassis in the game right now, and it's almost bittersweet to scratch them up. To help protect that beautiful chassis, they're going to include some very thick composite skid plates front and rear on this guy. Moving under the wing in the back, they do have a wheelie bar little wheel mount on there. Although you may not get to use it to its full potential in the stock setup, you may need a gearing change. Moving on to the electronics compartment, you're going to get the Torax 135 ESC, and thankfully, just like their other models, the switch is faced towards the back, so you can easily reach into the body and flick that on and off as you need. As for the motor, they're sticking with that Kuron 725, which is a 2150 kV brushless motor, capable of running 3 and 4S LiPo. That's going to be connected to a 13-tooth pinion gear, and if it's anything like its brother, the Kagama 4, it's going to be a little under-geared out of the package. Now, for beginners, this is great. However, if you're a little more experienced, you're going to want a little more oomph out of the truck. You're probably going to want to bump that up to that 15 or that 17-tooth pinion gear. Just be wary, you may want to run a fan if you go up to that 17-tooth, and those are the only 3 gear options for this truck with the stock motor plate. Moving on to the servo, it does have that CRHV 7225 Metal Gear digital servo, which has exceeded all my expectations in the past. It is way more capable than I thought it would be originally, and has held up great so far. Hopefully this one will do the same in this truck. So now that we showed you everything inside the Punisher 4, you might be thinking to yourself, Dev, what's so different about this truck? That's it. Yeah, that's literally it. Team Kagama went through all the trouble of releasing a brand new model just to keep everything the exact same except the body and the pattern on the rear wing. Now, if you don't believe me, we'll set the Punisher 4 right here. We'll grab our Kagama 4, sit right next to it. Oh, Forgot this part, about the wing thing we talked about earlier. That's it. Two peas in a pod, literally the exact same truck. The only thing Corelli changed on the Punisher 4 from the Kagama 4 is just those rub rails on top of the body shape, and then obviously the liveries are different and the pattern on the rear wing is different also. Now, it's not uncommon for RC manufacturers to release very similar vehicles to what they had in the past, maybe throw a few updates to the chassis, and then just send it on out into production. You see Traxxas and Losi and all the big names do this fairly frequently. But what you don't see too often is a truck come out and then a manufacturer to release the same exact truck under a different name, just with a different body, only a couple months later. That's a little unique. Now, at first, although I was a little puzzled, I was like, okay, this might make sense. When the Kagama 4 was released, there was a couple issues from factory with the truck, like the little pins on the drive shaft falling out, just coming apart real easy. There was also some diff problems. This truck was not coming from the factory with fluid. People didn't know that, and they were locking them up after running the truck. We actually experienced some problems here on the channel. We'll leave a link here to the full video on the Kagama 4 if you want to check it out, but we did manage to break off the rear wing mount fairly easily, which it was kind of shocking. This wing mount held up exceptionally well on the Synchro 4, and we crashed that buggy very hard a lot. This truck, we had one good landing on the rear wing and it snapped it clean off. Now, all RC cars do break. That is nothing new, and this is a fairly simple, cheap, and easy fix. However, I am worried it's going to keep occurring just due to the weight of the truck, and if you hit that perfect angle, it's just going to snap every time. Hopefully that's not the case, but unfortunately that's what it looks like just due to the sheer weight of this truck. Taking the body off, you're gonna notice a body post hanging in there also. We took a landing to the nose just like this, and we did break off that front body post mount on either side. Now that breakage was a little more shocking, and from what I've seen in the Facebook groups, the forums, and just talking to customers, I don't know anyone else who has broken that front body post mount, so I think that may have been a one-off fluke. But experiencing and knowing about these issues, especially after the wonderfully successful launch of the Synchro 4 early last year, I thought, okay, Team Corelli had some big shoes to fill after dropping that buggy. The Kagama 4 was really good, it's a really good truck, but it just didn't quite reach that same level of excellence as the Synchro 4. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they dropped the Punisher 4, that makes sense. However, that assumption was quickly proved wrong. There's a leaked photo from the Nurses show that happens in Las Vegas every year, out on the internet, quite a few people seen it, and this truck and the Kagama 4 are both in that picture. So I got onto our dealer site and was like, oh, yep, there it is, I am wrong. And also, if you want a little Easter egg, look on top of this truck and you might just see the next Team Corelli RC release. Any guesses on what it is, leave it down in the comments below. But anyway, it's just a real mind effort to have a completely separate model and rebrand of a truck just to have a different body, especially when Team Corelli already had this out of development with the Kagama 4. I don't know why they just couldn't offer it as a separate body option and keep the Kagama name or the Punisher name or whatever they wanted to do. Either way, only difference are the bodies. Let's go out and beat on this Punisher 4. See if it'll hold up to the same abuse as the Kagama 4, see if we break the same parts or something else, but most of all, let's just go have fun with an affordable 4S 10 scale RC monster truck. Alright guys, plenty of snow and ice for today's bash session. Yesterday was 30s and pouring down rain. It froze overnight, we got a little bit of snow, so we got a ton of ice as a base layer with a little snow on top. We're currently experiencing today's high of 12 degrees. Not supposed to thaw out for a couple days here, but I wanted to get this video up, so this is going to be a very good plastics durability test on this Punisher 4. So before we get driving, did notice a couple other changes aside from the body. I know, big shocker. The front shocks are actually mounted in the outer hole instead of the inner hole like on the Kagama 4. And on the Punisher 4, these mounts are moved in just like this, whereas on the Kagama, they're on the outside ones. Hopefully I don't bust my bum also. A little bit harder to drive with gloves on, but I think we'll get there. So we do have a little bit of cinders in the middle of the road. It's hooking up pretty decent. It is hooking up okay on the ice also. Not too shabby. We're getting better traction than I thought we would here. This thing is just an absolute blast. It's so fun in the snow. I gotta say, those wheels look pretty good with that little bit of snowiness in the beadlocks there. That looks sick. Maybe we should do some white wheels on the Punisher. That'd be pretty sweet. As you can see, this stuff is, I mean, this is just pure freaking ice under this little bit of snow fluff here. There is some cinders right in the middle, but for the most part, this is all just ice. And this thing's eating it up. It's doing really good. These tires are hooking up well, so now we know they hook up good on grass, dirt, and snow. Oh, ran into a tree. A little bit harder to drive with gloves on, that's for sure. I gotta say, this new body's growing on me now that I'm driving it. It looks pretty good in motion. Very Dodge Charger Challenger-esque front grille on it. Oh, thank God I had composite toe boots on it. That would have really hurt. It really sucks. I don't trust my GoPros enough because that spot on the roof is just calling for an on-car camera. But if anyone knows GoPros, they're prone to failure, especially the Hero 8 Blacks. I really gotta upgrade our filming setup. A little bit hard packed, so it might dig in, but we'll see. Nice. Oh no. As long as you keep her pinned, she'll go though. As soon as you let up, we're sinking. Oh, I think it wants to climb a tree. Nice. Oh. Aw. Uh-oh. We got three-wheel drive. Oh, yep. We are missing a drive shaft. All right, I could not find that drive shaft anywhere, so we're gonna do a little bit of three-wheel pill till the battery dies. I could always come back out to this spot at another time, see if I can find it, but we'll take it in here in a bit and see what actually broke where it's a little warmer. And yeah, let's drive this through the truck, or this camera dies, because it is not liking the cold. So. Well, unfortunately, our filming got cut short due to the camera shutting off, due to the extreme cold outdoor temperature. I've only been back out here filming a couple minutes, and my fingers are absolutely frozen. All right, guys, so we got the Corrali cleaned up, and I brought it back out here to show you. So everything is completely fine, but this pin and dog bone came out. It looks like this clip must have expanded, and they just went flying right out. Now this is very interesting, because this is pretty much the problem the early Kagamas were having, which makes me think this truck was produced at the same time as the early Kagama 4s. The later Kagama 4s didn't have this issue, and even ours, being an earlier one that we had on the channel, didn't have the issue either. Just some of them did. But now we got that same issue on the Punisher 4. Other than that, though, the rest of this truck held up absolutely amazing. So if you're interested in the Punisher 4 or any other Team Corrali models, links will be down in the description below, as well as a $40 off coupon. You can save 40 bucks on this guy, or you can always head directly over to our website, www.naughtyboyrc.com. And remember, keep it naughty.